Drafting out of the 7-hole here, thanks to our friends over at DraftKings for sponsoring us on the channel this week. If you're not signed up for DraftKings, you can use promo code Davis. There actually is a promo in the lobby for this final best ball week here. We are, I believe, like about 58 hours away from the 2026 NFL Draft. We're going to draft a couple teams over on DraftKings here on the channel today. Hope that you guys will join me. Are we going to get to begin with JSN at 7? Come on, Lone Wolf. Lone Wolf 52, you feel like a Jonathan Taylor guy to me. That feels more like a right-wing slappy than anything else. I would love to click this JSN button right now, and we do. What a gift to start the stream with Justin Jefferson going at 6. I mean, honestly, do we think that's crazy? If I were to tell you that I give you no information other than this, that Kyler Murray starts 17 games this year, so that means no J.J. McCarthy, no injury. If I give you no other information other than that, don't you think there's probably a chance that Justin Jefferson is the highest scoring player in fantasy football? I kind of think it might be true. Let's compare JSN to Justin Jefferson over on Flock Fantasy, and let's use promo code Davis if you want to sign up over there. Let's change the time frame. Let's go full career, apply the time frame there, and then we will apply the full career time frame to Justin Jefferson. And over their entire career, Jefferson earns more targets, has a larger target share, more receptions per game, more receiving yards per game. Receiving touchdowns per game is actually kind of close, 0.39 to 0.45. Almost a full yard more yards per target, significantly better yards per route run. I mean, obviously, you've got JSN's poor rookie season in there. Are we going to be able to take Ken Walker? Wow, we are going to be able to take Ken Walker. What an absolute gift of a start. Kenneth Walker and JSN. Yes, DK to 10-minute clocks on the slows. I'm going to keep it very, very real with you guys. If you are in DK slows with me, I have given up. These are all on auto draft now. I put rankings in, and that's it. These are all my remaining slows. They are on auto draft. I tried to keep up with it yesterday, but I dropped the rope. There was just no way I was going to be able to get through on that one. 10-minute clocks, 1-hour clocks, 4-hour clocks. It's too much. I was able to keep up with the remaining 4 hours on UD, but I don't think there was any way I was going to be able to hold with, there's just no way I was going to be able to keep up with. 10-minute clocks is crazy. And that is just what you got to do. Sometimes when you were trying to draft 3,000 fantasy football teams, sometimes you got to let go and let God. Yes, as Mr. Ashmal says, God's plan on the remaining slows. I wonder. So let's change this time frame a little bit, and let's just do 24-25 and apply that, and then let's do the same thing for Justin Jefferson. Let's do 24-25. So just the most recent 2 seasons. So after JSN's semi-breakout and with Justin Jefferson's worst ever season. So including Justin Jefferson's worst ever season, you still have Jefferson. He's still better, man. He really, honestly, at the end of the day, he's the man. We got to get some competent quarterback play out of my guy, Kyler Murray. Have you noticed any major difference in your rooms now that you're drafting in the PM more than the AM? I honestly am not drafting that much in the PM, honestly, because most of the drafts I've done have been slows. Now, here's the question. Structurally, do I want to take ETN or do I want to take, you know what? I do want to take ETN. I was like, structurally there, Nico is definitely a better pick. And Nico was the ADP value, but ETN was the better structural fit. Because if you look at the guys who are going to, what a crazy start from Craig Staz here. Taylor, Neighbors, and AJ Brown. Although that one is doable from the left side of the board. But if you look at the 2v2 options here, the 2v2 is like ETN and Ladd McConkey versus what? Nico Collins and Quinshon Judkins. I think I like my side of the board there. Yes, DeAndre Swift at 30. Welcome to DraftKings, boys. This is how people do it out here. It is the wild, wild west. And now that there is there's a promo in the lobby over on DraftKings. So if you just open up the DraftKings app and you go, I think you just have to opt into a promo, you get a free DFS ticket. I might be a $3 ticket, might be a $5 ticket if you just enter into one of these drafts right now. ETN over Nico on full PPR because of structural reasons in the third round is just not it. Well, you tell me, man, where are the running back points coming from? You tell me. If you have a crystal ball and you can tell me which one of Chuba Hubbard, Jalen Warren, Rico Dowdle, J.K. Dobbins, you tell me which one of those guys ends up, being an equivalent score to ETN. You let me know. Because look at this. I'm about to get Garrett Wilson really hopefully Garrett Wilson here. Hoping Craig Stas does not take him or Luther Burden at this pick. I mean, I like this side of the 2v2 a lot. Garrett Wilson and Luther Burden might just straight up outscore Nico Collins. Nico Collins doesn't have a quarterback. Nico Collins plays for a really poor offense. Wow, Garrett Wilson. Yeah, I'm sorry, dude. I'm taking that all day. So the Nico guy, so the 2v2 would have been in this specific draft, Nico Collins and Quinshawn Judkins versus ETN and Garrett Wilson. I'm taking ETN and Garrett Wilson all day. I honestly don't even really think it's that close. I really don't. I'm taking Nico Javonte over ETN Garrett. No. I like the ETN Wilson side. I know everyone loves Javonte Williams, and Javonte Williams was so awesome last year and he scored all those touchdowns, but a significant part of me still has a hard time believing. And maybe I will end up being wrong. In fact, I probably will end up being wrong. And I take Javonte Williams, but it's so hard for me to forget who he was the year before when he played all those snaps. I mean, he played so many snaps in 2024. 0 100-yard games in 2024. More games with under 3 yards per carry than over 3 yards per carry. Only scored a touchdown in 4 separate games. It's very, very hard for me. My truth serum is that Javonte Williams' ADP this year is I only take him because I'm scared of losing. The only reason I take Javonte Williams is because I'm scared of losing. That's literally it. Truth serum, the more I optimize to know more and do better, the less fun I have. So the more I win, the less fun I am having. That is a good truth serum. And that is a good example of a truth serum. A lot of people do the truth serum wrong. A lot of people think that the truth serum is simply a hot take, and that is not it. Yes, we do got to have some fun. I think I have about 18 teams left to do here on DraftKings. All right. So what are we going to do here? Waddle would be really nice. Yeah. Wow. Look at that. All right. So Walker, ETN, JSN, Garrett Wilson, and Jalen Waddle. You love to see it. Titans logo reaches for Ward Helm in multiple rooms last night, like Helm at 140. Bang. Yeah. You love to see it. I mean, the good word of Gunnar Helm is spreading out there to the people. People are learning that the secret to pre-draft best ball is the 2 late tight ends, Gunnar Helm and Terrence Ferguson. The truth serum requires people being a little bit vulnerable, and most people don't want to do that, so they revert to doing it wrong. Yes, 100% correct. You are couldn't be more accurate. And I even did my truth serum last year was I'm trying to I do genuinely believe it, and I'm happy to say it, but it also is something that makes me appear unintelligent, where I was just like, hey man, football doesn't have to be that hard. You should just draft fast players. My truth serum this year will be a smidgen different. Oh man, Caleb Williams doesn't make any sense on this team because I didn't take Luther Burden. What do I want to do here? This is an awful spot of the draft. This is why I end up taking so much Drake May and Jaden Daniels and Jalen Hurts, because what do you even do at this spot of the draft? You know what? We're going to take Jaden Daniels. I can maybe set up a little stack with Chig Okonkwo or Brandon Ayuk later in the draft. Yes, Kyler at 54. I mean, you guys are just going to have to get hip to this is what happens on DraftKings. I mean, there That's a Justin Jefferson team, so that could just be an error, right? That could be a little bit of star method for the boys. Yes. Jester Gunnar Helm. Truth serum, I draft 3 quarterbacks on every team and not sure I like it. Yeah, here's a good truth serum. I draft 3 quarterbacks on every single team because the sims that Sacrilegious created on legendaryupside.com seem to indicate that 3 quarterbacks are pretty helpful for advance rate and pretty helpful for giving you another stack in the final. However, one thing that I'm obviously doing to some degree, that we're all kind of doing, is we're flying blind into a new environment where third quarterbacks are much more expensive. So if you look at Daniel Jones goes in the 12th, 13th round, Malik Willis goes in the 12th round, Fernando Mendoza goes in the 14th round, Jacoby Brissett is a top 150 pick, Geno Smith is 100% drafted, Bryce Young is 100% drafted, Cam Ward. Back in the day, and by back in the day, I mean literally like 2 years ago, or even the beginning of last offseason, guys like Bryce Young, Cam Ward, Tua Tagovailoa, even Michael Penix, even Aaron Rodgers, these guys would not have been drafted nearly at the clip than they're. Oh yeah, sorry. I can't be given Sack any credit. I meant Mr. Advice himself, Mr. Shady. I've been a 3 quarterback bro for years, 50% of May rookie year. I'm definitely not I am definitely not a 3 quarterback bro by trade, by creed, by belief. I think that if anything, what people should be doing more is taking 4 tight end and 5 tight end teams. That is much more of what I believe, because those guys can contribute at flex. The thing that is so hard about eating a roster spot at quarterback is if you have one guy who goes for 30, one guy who goes for 35, in a way that can maybe even hurt you, because obviously in the pod weeks, if your third quarterback is Jacoby Brissett or your third quarterback is Geno Smith and that guy's a huge week, I mean, there's a strong chance that actually hurts you because you're going to be up against him. Let's do the planning. So we have Jaden Daniels, Ken Walker, ETN, JSN, Garrett Wilson, Jalen Waddle, and Harold the Plannin Fannin Jr. If everyone has 3 quarterbacks in the 500 purse final, how many unique saps will be duped? Like 0, like none. I think you underestimate the sheer amount of combinations. I would be stunned to see too much duping of stacks in any given final. I mean, maybe like a Stafford Puka situation, but even then, it's way less obvious than you would think. I don't know if this is dumb, but feel like 3 quarterbacks is trying to be safe, but I believe in the all you need is one. So want to be as risky as tenable across my teams and hope one of them has the right 2 quarterbacks. I mean, Brad, I would not call you dumb, but obviously a big part of all you need is one is the thing that is helpful is just having more chances at that one. Advancing, and this is actually like legit Best Ball Manifesto 101 stuff from Leone, which is just that having a third quarterback increases your advance rate. Increasing your advance rate increases the expected value of a team, and it's that simple. It doesn't need to be a big complex, mathematical analysis of like this combination of players versus this combination of players. None of that stuff really matters in the end. The only thing that matters is getting teams to the money rounds, because the projections, if you think about it, the projections are actually pretty flat once you get there. Like when you get there, all you care about is having live bodies. You don't really care about massive projection differences because there just are not going to be that many massive projection differences. This is, I think, an absolute slam dunk Ramondre or Jalen Warren pick. I mean, Ramondre at pick 90 is just like a freaking alley-oop, bro. Give me, bang, wow. Okay. Jaden Daniels, Ken Walker, ETN Jr., JSN, Garrett Wilson, Jalen Waddle, Harold Fannin Jr., and Ramondre Stevenson. That is huge. Getting Ramondre as the running back 3 on this team is pretty big. What do you think about drafting all of your running back heavy teams on Underdog and all of your 0 running back teams on DK? I think that is, to me, that seems like a bad idea because you have still blocked yourself out of potential paths. I think basically, if I was to give universal best ball fantasy football advice that kind of fits everywhere across the board, I would just say at the end of the day, you just want to be optimizing for real time ADP value. If you were to have no other guiding principle drafting these best ball teams, the guiding principle that would allow you to have the best teams most consistently and allow you to get the most shots on goal would be having real-time ADP value. So I just took Ramondre Stevenson 14 spots after ADP. I think I took Harold Fannin a couple spots after ADP. I think honestly, and this will work for some people. Like, oh, I went super overweight on Jonathan Taylor. I went super overweight on Kyle Pitts. I went super overweight on Christian Watson. Like, that'll be the type of stuff that you see on Twitter or on other YouTube channels or whatever. And you'd be like, oh my gosh, this guy advanced 37% of his teams because he was super overweight on Parker Washington. And Parker Washington finishes a wide receiver 14 and had a big week 15. And he carried Trevor Lawrence teams or whatever. But at the end of the day, that is stuff that is likely to not be as helpful for you as you would think. We're going to do Bo Nix here. We're going to double up on relatively expensive quarterbacks. So we have a 2-3-3-1. But we have our stack now because we have Nix and Waddle together. And I'm going to set up a Chig and an Ayuk a little bit later. Correct. Another heuristic that my guy Brad believes in is winning the flex. So 3 quarterback by round 10-ish. Yes, I don't want to do a ton of that. So I don't even have a ton of builds that look exactly like this. Generally speaking, when I would take a Jaden Daniels or when I would take a Bo Nix, when I would take an expensive quarterback rather. So when I would take Jalen Hurts, when I would take Drake May or any of those guys, then generally speaking, I am missing a lot of this quarterback window. The thing about this quarterback window is a lot of the picks here stink. Do I want to be taking Blake Corum? Do I want to be taking Quentin Johnston? Not really, honestly. I'm really not all that interested in it. I think Pearsall would be a good pick here. I think Gadsden would be a good pick here. We're probably going to save. Actually, we're going to save tight end here because we took Fannin. So this is going to be more of a Ferguson. Well, Chig. I maybe even need to put Chig in the old star method here. All right, there we go. We got Pearsall as our wide receiver 4. I think this team is actually coming together a little bit. I truly think balanced builds just going off ADP and CLV is boring and arguably the best way to draft. Yes, how much of the drafts that you do, how much of the strategy that you are using in your individual teams, how much of it is just based off of not wanting to draft the same team 1,000 times? This is something that that people talk about in poker and stuff. Is okay, I go and sit down in a casino and I want to go play, $1, $2, no limit hold'em, and I just fold. Oh, ace king suited. All right, 3-bet. Jacks. Well, Jacks you want to fold, but I get a good hand, I play, and I get paid off. And I don't need to bluff, and I don't need to thin value bet, and I don't need to check raise, and I don't need to do any of this stuff because I'm playing with opponents at a casino, and I just win because everyone else is really bad. And trust me, I get it, right? I draft all these teams. It is April 21st, and I've already got, well over 500 teams. I probably have close to 700 teams drafted right now. And yeah, it's not always that fun to do all right, well, I scoop the value here, and now I'm going to add Bo Nix, and now I'm going to add Ricky Pearsall, and I'm just going to keep scooping the value. I'm going to buy the Dipperino. But if you're going to draft that many teams, you are naturally going to get a ton of exposure to different builds and to different players. That's actually something that I learned last year when I was drafting, much more balanced, was you do just kind of end up with a bunch of nice teams. You're going to have nice kind of even sweats in week 15, 16, and 17. That's just kind of the way it goes, Okay. For this next pick, hold on. I am going to star Chigakonkwo so that I don't forget. And I'm actually going to star Brandon Ayuk as well. Ayuk, by the way, is so funny. He's literally a guy that I only ever take on stream. Feels like I never take Brandon Ayuk, like when I'm just sitting there drafting by myself. Not a Kincaid guy. There's not an obvious, you know what? As a little treat, I'm going to give myself a little bit of Xavier Worthy as a treat as the wide receiver 5 here. You know, I worked hard. I'm allowed to check raise there a little bit. You know, I mean, I think a great lesson from the Eliminator is that not only are balanced builds good for that style of contest, but balanced builds that score a pretty good amount of points every single week and keep yourself with a decent amount of ceiling is they're pretty good for big contests like this as well. Yes, and I mean the reality is if you are mostly playing in the absolute largest contest, so if you are in this training camp contest on DraftKings, it is so big and the final is so big that even if you drafted the perfect fantasy team, I will never forget this, but the year that Perine won Best Ball Mania, I went back and looked at the highest week 17 scoring player in every round. So the player from round 1 who scored the most points in week 17, from round 2, from round 3, from round all the way to the end. Had you drafted the highest scoring week 17 player in every round the year that Perine won Best Ball Mania, you would not have advanced. I mean, obviously anything can happen in a given pod, but it would have been very unlikely for you to advance. So, I mean, that's why we love the game, right? Because it is a really interesting mix of optimizing for what happens in the regular season and what is going to end up delivering us the money. Aaron Jones, I think, is actually quite a good fit for this team because we have Walker, ETN, bang. I mean, Aaron Jones. I am certainly not a Jordan Mason guy. My son wants to do a dynasty team together. Advice on which website and type of league. He is 11, but loves listening to content with me, the draft and red zone. Yeah, I would tell you to set up on Sleeper probably is the easiest way to do it. It'll be native and, it'll be fun for him. And then the next thing I would do is I would tell him to subscribe to the Dynasty-Matic YouTube channel. Everything that you need to win your Dynasty Fantasy Football leagues. And he will get the greatest Dynasty Fantasy Football content that you will ever find there on the Dynasty-Matic channel. There's currently only one running back that is consistently drafted on the Bengals. You know, the reason why that is because Samaje Perine plays a ton, but he's just he doesn't get any points. Samaje Perine played over 25% of the snaps for the Bengals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He played over 25% of the snaps in every game that he was active for and only topped 8 points 2 times over the course of the season. So there's just no point really in drafting Samaje Perine, and you know the role that Perine is going to play. Where do I think Jonah Coleman goes after the Seahawks pick him? Really high. 8th round. All right, bang, chig, got our stack here. So we now have both of our quarterbacks stacked in this draft. We're kind of painting a little bit of a masterpiece here. I mean, if Chase Brown gets hurt, it's going to be useless. I mean, Taj Brooks, maybe you get a little bit of Trevion Williams, maybe. I don't even think Trevion Williams is on the team anymore. Okay, Taj Brooks, Gary Brightwell, Kendall Milton. I mean, I think their remaining running backs probably just are not any good. I think we are going to do some underdog soccer content on Thursday. Chopper Dave is the plan. I assume we will get Heidenreich updated to a running back post-draft. It'll depend on which team drafts him and how they refer to him as. I believe Heidenreich is in the DraftKings player pool. He is not on underdog. Eli Heidenreich, yes, but he's listed as a wide receiver. So there you go. Heidenreich is listed, but only as a wide receiver. True Serum. I mean, this is not True Serum. Liam is much better than me at best ball. He has won 3 best ball contests, I believe, right? He won Best Ball Mania, and then he won a DK 333, and I think maybe a DK 1K. Running back here probably makes some sense. These running. Oh, all right. Well, don't spoil it, Davis, but I know which running back I want here. Give me. Oh, Keaton Missile goes. That is so unfortunate. All right, we'll take Rachaad White. Double up on the Washington Commander stack there. That's big ADP value on him as well. I really have not made any draft bets because I don't really see much on the board this year. It feels like a pretty unpredictable draft. Feels like there's going to be lots of trades. If there was anything that I was going to do for draft betting this year, I would just bet a ton of long shots. I would be like 8 to 1s, 9 to 1s, 10 to 1s, 20 to 1s, 40 to 1s. I wouldn't want to be betting, plus 145s in this NFL draft personally. If you like Worthy now, you're going to love him in the 150s next week. Yeah. After the Chiefs take Mekhi Lemon or Carnell Tate or Jordan Tyson, then we probably get what would happen? Worthy would go to the 18th round. I would assume. He would just no longer get drafted. He'd at least be the 4th Chief drafted for sure. Be really interesting to see what would happen to Tate. No, I've not done any of the mock drafts yet. I did do a mock draft the other day on the Dynasty Matic channel, and I'll be submitting. I'm in the mock draft streets. Is this 175? Is this our Brandon Ayuk pick? Oh, Ayuk already went at 152. I guess I missed him. I guess someone wanted Brandon Ayuk more. I never project trades doing a mock draft, but I do long shot prop bets. Yes, it does make sense. Yes, certified DGen. We are gonna do a soccer video probably on Thursday, potentially Friday. But yeah, we will be in the streets for the World Cup for sure. Ridley, Gene. Oh, let's take Stowers. Let's just get our 3rd tight end out of the way. So we add in Eli Stowers as our. Oh, I didn't even click the button. Oh, that was dangerous. Add Eli Stowers in as our 3rd tight end here. Man, if Stowers ends up being a loser tweener, we are going to have a bad time. It's going to be tough scenes if Eli Stowers is bad. Yeah, I guess Ayuk went right after Chig. I took Chig at 151 and Craig Stas took him. I think for best ball, I like Chig more than Ayuk, but you could tell me that Ayuk was like the total skeleton key for best ball, and I would believe you. Like Brandon Ayuk stops the craziness, gets traded for a day 3 pick swap to the Commanders. 49ers say adios. Ayuk shows up, healthy, ready, motivated, good to go. Playing with his boy from college. Who amongst us does not want to return to college? That's certainly what Brandon Ayuk and Rachaad White wanted. I take a lot of Geno. The thing that you are ducking with Geno is just like total systemic chaos for the Jets, because at the end of the day, he is still a Jet. I do have Garrett Wilson on this team, so maybe I should take. Oh, well, all right. I was going to take Geno, but now he is gone. And I have 2 expensive quarterbacks anyway. Should I just take Jawan Jennings? It's pick 186. Trey Harris, I like just fine. Singleton, I like as a 6th running back here. Sure. You know what? I'm just going to slurp the Dipperino there on Jennings. Maybe Jennings ends up being a 49er. Jennings at pick 186 is wild. Yeah, a lot of reasons to dislike Ayuk, except for that, when he has played, he has generally been really good, right? That is one of the interesting things about Brandon Ayuk. I mean, in 2024, he barely played, but was still 3 for 53 per game. But then in 2023, 3.81 yards per route run, 12.8 yards per target on a 25% target share, 4 for 83 per game. I mean, really unbelievable stuff. I can see them trading Ayuk for a draft pick. Yeah, I mean, that's the only reason he hasn't been released thus far. The only reason that Brandon Ayuk is not already a commander is that the 49ers think they can get a draft pick for him, which they probably will be able to. Seems like with the meta this year, it's hard to get unique without picking borderline insane in some rounds. Yeah, but what is the value in being unique? I guess that would be my question to you, because I'm not convinced there is a ton of value in best ball of being unique. What does uniqueness get you? Uniqueness is more of a DFS thing. I'm not really at all convinced that being unique is useful in best ball. I think, if anything, it might be a little bit of a false flag. Ooh, you know what? Braylon Allen is kind of nice here. Do I just want to take Rodgers? Yeah. I mean, I think we're gonna end up with yet another Aaron Rodgers third quarterback team. I don't really see how you're beating pick 199 Aaron Rodgers for a late guy. There you go. Per a particle physicist who professionally plays DFS himself, also not that useful in DFS. Out of all the free agent wide receivers, what is your top 3 in order of like the current available free agent wide receivers or guys who were free agents? I mean, how many free agent wide receivers are there left? I guess you've got Reek, Diggs, Debo. I mean, if I knew Reek was healthy, he would for sure be 1. Then it would be Debo. Then it would be Jennings. Then it would be Diggs. I guess then maybe like Keenan Allen or something after that. If I had any thought of Tyreek Hill being healthy, and I have no idea if he is or is not healthy or what his week 1 status is going to be. I completely agree. The Steelers are a very, very boring football team. They are, they're gonna line them up and knock them down pretty much. Let's do Brazel here. Very legendary upside coded of me to do Brazel. Saw some Twitter hype on Brazel yesterday. Some anonymous scout compared him to AJ Brown. I mean, I don't know if I believe that. In fact, I probably don't believe that. But anytime the Tennessee fans who are so used to watching their wide receivers stink in the NFL tell you that guy's built different, it's probably worth noting. I mean, let's actually go look at the history of the Tennessee wide receivers, because it is pretty funny. So 2024 was who? I don't even remember. 2024 was Dante Thornton, huge bust. 2023 was Squirrel White, Remel Caton, and Dante Thornton, all busts or non-NFL players. 2022 was Hyatt, who I believe won the Bolitnikoff and stunk. 2021 was Cedric Tillman. I mean, he had some moments. Cedric Tillman and Bayless Jones. Cedric Tillman had some moments, but I mean, let's be real, mostly a bust. Josh Palmer, Bayless Jones, Jalen Hyatt was 2020, so more busts. Juwan Jennings was the last one. Juwan Jennings and Marquez Callaway in 2019. How about it? Okay, we're going to do another running back here. Who do we want to do? I mean, we probably need a young guy. Let's do, I'm feeling a little bit fancy. Let's do my guy, Demond Claiborne. People forget he was the fastest guy in NCAA 17. NCAA 17, NCAA 25. I do not believe in Cedric Tillman because I had a DK Millie team that needed some wide receiver points to advance in week 16 last year. And Cedric Tillman was out there running routes and just did nothing. I mean, Rodgers does have a team. It is the Pittsburgh Steelers. If what would the Steelers' plan even be were Rodgers to not show up? Will Howard, you're telling me Will Howard is going to be the first year with Mike McCarthy? I'm not buying it, bro. They even hired Rodgers' old coach. I cannot see how Rodgers is not the quarterback for them this year. I mean, I could be wrong. Been wrong about many of these things before, but it's hard. It's hard for me to see. It's always possible. Never want to say it's not possible. Simpson 21. They just run back the Kenny Pickett experience. Well, I have a lot of Ty Simpson too, so I guess that would be okay. All right, one more. My running backs are Walker, Etienne, Stevenson, Aaron Jones, Rachaad White. Yeah, we need another stab in the dark at running back here. Adam Randall, anybody? Jade Knott. You know what? I don't even know if I've taken Jade Knott on DraftKings yet. So let's do a little bit of the Jaden Ott experience. My guy, Jade Knott. Another 3,773 clocked. Jaden Daniels, Kenneth Walker, Travis Etienne Jr., Jackson Smith and Jigba, Garrett Wilson, Jalen Waddle, Harold Fannin Jr., Ramondre Stevenson, Bo Nix, Ricky Pearsall, Xavier Worthy, Aaron Jones, Chigakonkwo, Rachaad White, Eli Stowers, Juwan Jennings, Aaron Rodgers, Chris Brazzell, Damon Claiborne, and Jaden Ott. Bang, bang. All right, we are in our next draft here. 36 minutes, 56 seconds into the stream. We are drafting out of the 10 slot in this draft. Hope that we have a nice time here. 10 slot. Should we do the full slappy draft? 10 slot, you start Jeanty, Walker. Carson Beck, 4th round, Will Howard starting. Yeah, that's definitely not happening. Can't go into the season with a new coach and go with Carson Beck and Will Howard. Definitely not happening. What player in the first 3 rounds should have the biggest ADP difference between underdog and DraftKings? Probably Rashee, right? Rashee PPR scam. Who else? I mean, Henry is obviously a better fit on underdog. McBride is a better fit on DraftKings. It's got to be Rashee, though, I would assume. Maybe yeah, I think it's probably Rashee. Rashee should go a little bit lower on underdog. I mean, Rashee should probably be a 1st round pick on DraftKings. What is the let's see what the Mike Clay projections are. So Mr. Clay has Rashee Rice as the wide receiver 5, 107, 1257, and 10 touchdowns. Well, Xavier Worthy is the wide receiver 46. Feels about right to me. Howard will start at least 1 game this year. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Jacobs probably should go a little bit lower on DraftKings. Does Jacoby Brissett have any leverage? I mean, except I mean, I think that the team probably wants the team, like the Cardinals want to be bad. So what's the difference for them between starting Gardner Minshew and starting Jacoby Brissett? Doesn't feel like there's much of a difference at all. Probably no difference. McCarthy said he would have drafted Howard higher. Yeah, well, coaches say a lot of things. There was a report on Twitter about the Jags being interested in Jadarian Price. Would be hilarious. Well, wouldn't be hilarious for me. If the Jaguars, I mean, I don't even know what picks they have. Tankathon, NFL, full order, Jacksonville. So Jacksonville picks at 56, and they pick at 81. If they take Jadarian Price at 81, we are so cooked. Any Tootin bag is mega cooked. If the Jags, they don't have a first round pick, so they are kind of up against it there. Wow, McCaffrey's still there. I mean, I would definitely take McCaffrey at pick 10. Trade up in the second if they fill. I mean, do they even have the picks to trade up? I guess they have an extra third. They have an 8. They pick it. Oh, they have 2 extra thirds. So maybe they do have the ammo, honestly. All right, we'll do St. Brown at 10. Feels nice. No talk in Jacksonville about him locally. I call that bluff. Yeah, there is going to be huge overlay if you guys care about these things. I have already drafted all of my $1 contests on DraftKings, but the $1 contest on DraftKings is going to overlay massively, massively. God, am I about to take Barkley? Probably not. Well, I'm either going to take Barkley or Walker. Walker goes, Barkley goes. All right, St. Brown, Barkley. I'll take eat my vegetables a little bit here. God, I am so not a Barkley bro. Whatever a Barkley bro is not me. He was one of the most frustrating guys in fantasy football last year. 3.3 yards per carry, 2.6 yards per carry, 2 yards per carry, 2 yards per carry, 2 yards per carry, 3.2, 2.2. Tough. Only scored a touchdown in 7 individual games. I mean, no carries inside the 5. Not for me, bro. I got to be, I bet I bet I'm the lowest on him on flockfantasy.com, and I sure am. Look at how many guys in the data set for Barkley got worse year over year. Jamal Charles got better. James Conner stayed the same. Steven Jackson got worse. Fred Jackson got worse. Cedric Benson got worse. Chris Johnson got way worse. Darren McFadden got worse. Raheem Mostert got worse. And then Joe Mixon broke his foot and was out of football. Yeah, he is healthy. Kevin Patullo is gone. Oh yeah. Look at these rushes, bro. Inside the 5, he got 1, 2, 3. I mean, here I can look at the career. Inside the 5, he got less than 1 carry inside the 5 last year. He had 3 games with more than 2 rushes inside the 5. This is relatively true. I was probably going to be low on Barkley no matter what because he's a 29-year-old running back. So this would be a fair criticism of how I play the game of fantasy football, but he just was not able to, and no running back really can overcome poor offensive situation. You know, what running back can have a poor offensive line, bad play calling, and figure it out? It's very, very hard to do. But things might be different for the Eagles this year. Very, very well could be different for them. Sure. I mean, Derrick Henry. Yeah, I'm gonna be light on 33-year-old Derrick Henry compared to the market, and at some point you probably just have to let it go. What are you gonna do? Wait, you want me to draft every 33-year-old running back? Like, I mean, I guess to a degree, fantasy football is a game of outliers, but man, that is an out freaking liar. It's a good question. I honestly don't know how much Derrick Henry Sam had. He probably had a healthy amount. I believe in the Eagles front office, and a better run game is Eagles' path to contention. Well, yeah, I mean that was their path to contention in 2023 and 2024, right? They played good defense. They ran the ball well. It's kind of the path to contending across the NFL right now. With passing down, YPA down, EPA down, it's kind of the way she goes. Do I want to take T? I mean, I would definitely take ETN or Kyron if we had the option to do so. I gotta be the only best ball bro who is still writing for Kyron Williams. No one else is willing to admit that Kyron Williams is good for fantasy. So you can't say I I hate all running backs. All right, well, I'm probably not going to go because ETN's going to go right here. Man, Igbuka got expensive. I have not been hip to that. Emeka Igbuka at 35, huh? All right, bang. Do a little ETN. So Barkley, ETN, St. Brown. Pretty standard little team here. I mean, is Sirianni even a bad coach, or is he just too loyal to his bros? Because wasn't the deal that Kevin Patullo was basically like his friend, and he just wanted his friend to have a job? Because if that's the case, I mean, who amongst us has not let one of our friends, interfere in a situation like that? So it happens to the best of us. All right, we're about to be back up. I mean, I would take round 4T. Yeah, round 4T is good. Barkley, ETN, St. Brown, T. Higgins. And that's just kind of letting the room come to me, brother. I just traded Bucky and Shaheed for Kyron and Travis Hunter in Dynasty. That honestly, that feels fine both ways, I think. I could see why you would want either part of that trade. Me and the fantasy footballers are the ones holding it down on Kyron Williams. Hey, it's good company to be in. Footballers are very good at their jobs. I would contend that to be loyal to your bros can be a good trait for a bro, but does in fact make you worse at your job. Real. That's a good point. Although in my job, being loyal to your bros is good for your job. It's definitely a good trait when you are a best ball fantasy football analyst to be loyal to your bros. Am I worried about Puka this year? I mean, I'm worried about him in the sense that he probably is a little bit more of an Antonio Brown risk in terms of just some weird behavior popping up for him in the middle of the year. But I don't know. What is he really going to do? Puka Nacua is so good at football that his team is not they're not going to cut him. They're not going to bench him. They're not going to suspend him. The NFL really only suspends people for outright violence. And even then that violence basically has to be on video. We've seen guys just straight up not be charged or whatever. See, I'm not really worried about Stafford's back either. There was just a report yesterday that the Rams and Stafford are working on a contract extension. So that to me seems that the Rams feel good about his back. Stafford feels good about his back. Stafford is not even that old, right? Isn't Stafford only 38, which in the context of being a quarterback, it's not really that old anymore. Yeah, Stafford is 38. Rivers, all these guys kept playing. Quarterback, it's a different game now with the quarterbacks. Yeah, what if your job is being a bro? What if your job is being a best ball bro? Because that's my job. So you could argue that being a bro is actually actively good for me. Where did Luther Burden go? Is Luther Burden still available? Wow, Luther Burden falling to the 5th round. Loveland falling to 44. Pretty insane stuff, actually. How mean am I going to be when I judge for So You Think You Can Tout? It really depends. It really depends. I hope that there is a huge, almost unanimous winner out of So You Think You Can Tout. I hope that it ends up being a huge success. I hope it's massive for Peter's channel. I hope whoever wins is awesome. I hope they're a breath of fresh air to the fantasy football community. No, I've not gone through exposures. I do have a little bit. I've got some news as it pertains to the exposures, and all I will say is that you should have an account at flockfantasy.com and you should sign up with code Davis. That's all I'll say about exposures. There's something coming on that front. If the tout competition turns into posting AI slop, yeah, no one needs that. Will I be harsher on knowledge or entertainment? I mean, easily entertainment. Here's the secret, and this is why I assume this is basically behind Peter's idea that pretty much everyone knows a lot about fantasy football. It's not really that hard to be knowledgeable about fantasy football. The hard part about being a fantasy football analyst is being entertaining, right? I mean, that really is the tricky part. It's like being entertaining on video every day is hard. And it's not even that hard to be entertaining once. It's not that hard to be entertaining for 15 minutes. It's hard to be entertaining every day for hours at a time. All right, what do we think, boys? Do I take Burrow here or do I try and push him around the corner? Do we think either of these guys behind me is likely, or I guess I wasn't paying attention, or either of them auto drafters? Okay, well, Burrow goes, so it doesn't matter anyways. There you go. By Shell Tootin. Auto drafted Burrow in front of me. If you had to cut one of your best ball bros out of your life, who would it be? None of them, bro. I don't want to cut out any of my bros. You got to understand, these guys are like my coworkers. These guys are like my friends. Like, however you feel about your coworkers, like for me, that is like, you know, Perine or Shough or Jacob or whatever. I have legitimate real life affection for these guys. All right, little Carnell Tate there in the 6th round. Would have been nice to get Burrow on this team. Agree about entertainment, but I think Touters is not seeing this. What do you by this? Go easy, Charles. Who are the judges besides you and Pat? I have no idea. I don't really, I mean, Pete has not reached out to me in terms of like what he needs from me. I mean, obviously I told him that I would be available whenever. You know, I'm happy to help. I don't even know what my role in judging will be. You know what? I was literally, you know, Pete has the So You Think You Can Tout channel on in his Discord. I was almost going to message in there this morning and I was going to say first come, first serve. Whoever wants to come on, So You Think You Can Tout, first come, first serve. You can come on for the final draft. Submissions I see are all about selling themselves on football or accomplishments or what they can bring. Yeah, my advice would be no one gives a shit. My true advice would be no one cares. I mean, truly, think about it. Think about the biggest fantasy football channels. What is the big accomplishment for the fantasy footballers? I don't know, but they're the biggest YouTube channel. Mason won the big dog, but how many of his 300,000 YouTube subscribers even know that? What is Salvetri's big selling point? Like, I mean, I'm sure I get that Sal puts at the beginning of his videos like, oh, I have won 100 fantasy football leagues or whatever, but that's not why people care. People like to be entertaining, or people like to be entertained. People like, they want to feel like that's your bro. They want to feel that like they like you. I mean, being likable is basically the entire game of life, honestly. If you are kind and likable, you are going to go so much further in life than if you were the most hyper competent professional. Obviously, being hyper competent and professional will help you in many instances, but I wouldn't say it is the top thing in life. Being like super like, oh, this is the smartest guy. He can solve any problem. Like in some industries, sure, but not in YouTube. Not in there. I am positive that some of these So You Think You Can Tout people are smarter than me. No question. Smarter, better at, you know, data science, better at math. Yes. I if I had to summarize what I would tell the So You Think You Can Tout contestants, I would say being someone that people want to have a beer with is more important than winning the Schnauzer 9. Yes. Yeah. Whole subset of jobs based on forming parasocial relationships, which I think, honestly, I think a lot of us inherently understand that. Truly. I think a lot of people do get that. All right, what are we going to do here? It's about time to start thinking about a quarterback. I mean, do I want to take Goff here? I don't want to take Goff here. Goff goes at 102. I pick again at 107. Is that worth trying to push it? It's probably not worth trying to push it. You know what? We're going to play against character here. I'm going to take Justin Herbert. How about that? You guys never saw that coming. My guy, Justin Herbert. Are you saying there's more to life than being really, really, really ridiculously good looking? I am. I am saying that. I hired a couple hundred people in my career. Early, I hired for competence. As I learned, competence is kind of binary and it comes down to everything else. Yeah, competence is binary. That is good insight. I mean, Pitts here maybe makes some sense. Dowdle makes a little bit of sense here. Not really a quarterback that makes a ton of sense. You know what? Let's take Laporta and try and get the Lions double. I don't think the Fantasy Footballers or ESPN Fantasy Podcast is entertaining. Well, that's relative, right? That is relative to what you are looking for, right? Maybe you are like a total serious insane grinder. You just got to understand that you're a smaller part of the market. Could I use my influencer cred to get these last 4 spots of the 333 contest filled? Well, there you go, boys. If you are wanting to get into a $333 fantasy football contest on April 21st, lock in, get in there right now because my guy Jojo is trying to fill it. Would you rather lock button a 5th round pick, a 10th round pick, or a 15th round pick in every draft? I mean, it would definitely be a 15th round for 2 reasons. The first reason being the consequence of being wrong on a 15th round pick is very, very low. Whereas the consequence of being right is quite high in the sense that it's going to juice your advance rate. The secondary reason is that you could even be right about your 5th round pick in terms of them being a positive advance rate pick. Like, let's say, okay, the 5th round here. So let's say Lamar Jackson is a really high advance round pick, or actually bad example. Let's say Christian Watson is a really good advance rate pick, but let's also say Roma Dunze is a good advance round pick. And Roma Dunze is a, like, let's say the Caleb Williams stack is the thing you need in the postseason. So even if you get Christian Watson right, you still might not have the right combination of players. Davis, can you enlighten me on the database on the Flock site? I don't think I'd use the Dynasty Redraft tools, but I don't have a sub anywhere that gives advanced metrics. Well, I mean, I can just show you that basically a lot of the metrics that you would want to be interested in are sitting here on the site. So like here, let me just click JSN. I mean, you've got all these advanced tools. You can do splits. You can compare in wins and losses. You can add in additional statistics. You can add in end zone targets, targets per snap, targets inside the 10, targets inside the 5. You can add in all kinds of data in on top of that. And then I actually did just send a message to the dev team this morning inside of our internal messaging software to add in more stuff that I think we're going to be able to get. So in addition to the stuff they already have, I think we're going to have missed tackles forced per attempt, targets per route run, which actually already exists on the main stage, average depth of target, end zone targets, which we already have, route share, long down and distance snap share, and 2-minute drill snaps. So there's going to basically any piece of data that you want to have on a given player in a given season, you are going to be able to find over on flockfantasy.com. Yes, but I don't think they're trying to overdo the content fake persona, and that's what the tout thing almost seems like it is, and not if you're good at fantasy. I don't know if I understand I don't know if I understand what you're saying. I just at the end of the day, if you are in a form of work, if you're in an industry where so much of it is based on talking, you got to have likable stuff to say, or at least say things in a likable way. Goff is still on the board. Are we going to get Mr. Goof? Come on, boys. Let me push him 4 spots after ADP. I just know what's going to happen is this guy ahead of me is auto drafting, and this guy ahead of me who is auto drafting is going to auto Goff, and I'm going to be tilted. Goff is kind of what for me is kind of one of those ultimate like good but not great fantasy picks. I actually have Jared Goff on like a lot of my dynasty teams because there was an offseason where he was cheap to acquire. All right, Bo Nix, this guy's going to freaking do it. Come on. All right, well, if you're going to auto draft, there we go. Bang. All right, Jared Goff, we got it. Herbert, Barkley, ETN, St. Brown, T. Higgins, Cardinal Tate, Sam Laporta, Byshel Tootin, and Jared Goof. And then I'm going to take Oronde Gadsden with a next pick and lock up this stack. Yes. Is there anything worse than being at the turn and having an auto drafter to your left or your right? You just are going to watch yourself get pummeled. You're going to like, oh, I really want this ADP value. And then you are not going to get it. And it's just so frustrating and annoying. No one wants it. All right, bang. All right, so we now have a Herbert stack. We have a Lions double stack. And we're feeling great. We're feeling great about winning $250,000 on DraftKings, which, by the way, if any of you guys are not signed up over on DraftKings, shout out to DraftKings for sponsoring us on the channel this week. And you guys can go and sign up using code MATIC over on DraftKings. Yeah, I mean, Goff definitely doesn't look as good without Ben Johnson. It's true. Nico Collins does not have... I mean, Nico Collins has a quarterback. He just doesn't have a very good one. If you had to guess, where do you think Nico Collins ranked in EPA per play last season? Off the top of your head. It's actually, honestly, a little bit better than I thought. You know what? Let me take it back. I guess he does have a quarterback. He just doesn't have a quarterback who throws the ball. Ooh, the first fun purchase I would make. I mean, $250,000, probably not that much. Truly. I might not. Well, it's first purchase I would make was I would buy all new golf clubs. That's realistically the first purchase I would make. I did not see these reports that Jacksonville is targeting a running back in rounds 2 and 3, but I did see someone mentioned it in chat. Feels crazy. They don't have a first round pick, and they do have some pretty obvious holes on both sides of the ball. So going for a running back does seem crazy, but there you go. Yeah, just the ranks for Brandon Aubrey getting a new contract. Yeah, we all were witness to CJ Stroud in the postseason last year. See, this is a bad answer. You don't want to purchase the mortgage that the bank holds unless you have a horrible interest rate. If you have like a 7% interest rate or whatever, but if you have a 3% interest rate, you should not want to pay your mortgage off. You should say thank you for selling me dollars at below market rate. Yeah. Definitely, if you guys see me win any of these big DraftKings contests, you are going to see me get a brand new set of very nice fitted, probably Titleist golf clubs. Full new, and I'd probably pay for like, some playing lessons. So like anytime that I have taken actual golf lessons, it's been on a simulator or at the driving range. I would love to take a playing lesson. I am playing some Callaway game improvement irons. They are I mean, they're fine. They get the job done. I'm not very good. According to my GIN, my golf index, I'm a 13.2 handicap, which honestly actually feels low or a high in the sense that I feel more like a 15, but we'll see. I have a big golf trip at the end of May. We're playing some very, very nice like PGA level courses, and I really want my game to be in good shape by then. Big time TBD if it will be in good shape. See, I think Pat is much better than me. This is a great Omar Cooper Jr. team. Not going to be a stack, but Omar Cooper Jr. is like a really good fourth wide receiver to add here. Yes, my plan is I will probably max the big contest on Underdog, and I plan on doing a stream with a couple of the guys over from ETR on Thursday, potentially Friday, but there will be some courses. The main course we're playing TPC Deer Run, which they play a fall event on the PGA Tour. They might not play it anymore, but they used to play the Sanderson Farms there. You know what? Okay, I was going to say, let's take JCM on this team. Let's just bet. Let's bet that Jeremiah Love does not go to the Washington Commanders. No, World Cup drafts do not count towards the 3,000 drafts. I think with $250K, I would buy 2 rental properties, putting about $60K down on each. I would not do that. Operating rental properties sounds like a nightmare. That feels like a job not for me. That feels like a job for someone who is a little bit more hyper competent than your boy. All right. St. Brown, Barkley, Etienne, T. Tootin, Carnell Tate, Justin Herbert, Sam Laporta, Jared Goff, Oronde Gadsden, Omar Cooper Jr., and Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. I have like 14 entries in both. I'm like, why do any more and chip away at the overlay? Well, I think the overlay is locked in on DraftKings. There is no chance that the overlay on DraftKings goes away. CJ Stroud played better than Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs for sure. I mean, that's like definitely not true, right? I mean, Rodgers wasn't any good in the playoffs either, but just is what it is. Rodgers is going to start 17 games. It's not going to be very fun for anyone. It's not going to be fun for Rodgers. Not going to be fun for Steelers. Not going to be fun for Steelers fans. It's always a team for the CJ2K of our generation, Timothy. You must be a real ball knower. You must be a real man of culture, Timothy. Yeah, I think that probably is who we're gonna think about taking. Little Keaton Missile action. Let's go look at old Keaton Missile. I honestly have not looked at his card on flockfantasy.com. I mean, look at this, dude. 10 yards per carry, 7 yards per carry, 5 yards per carry, 5 yards, 9.5, 12.7, 8.2. I mean, what a guy. What a guy, Keaton Missile. Yeah, what could be more fun than 4-yard outs to Michael Pittman Jr.? I can't think of anything. Can't think of anything that would possibly be more exhilarating to watch. Rodgers was like dead last in the NFL in I believe it was big time throw rate last year. He just can't push the ball down the field anymore, which is a bummer. My wife's a doctor. We would only rent them out to residents at her hospital. Well, that would be good business for you. That would definitely be good business. Come on, man. All right, Woody Marks is off the board. He had a broken wrist. Not convincing to me. Crane has not responded to the Keaton Mitchell wanted poster because he is like skydiving in the Appalachian. That's not true. Crane is on vacation right now. So I believe that means he is not checking X the Everything app. Oh man, do I want to take Keaton or do I want to take Mike Washington Jr.? Might actually be better. Ooh, you know what? I already have Tootin. This is probably a good team to do a little something that you guys are gonna hate. I'm gonna take Travis Hunter Jr. Embrace the volatility. Don't try and be scared of your destiny. I'm not scared of my destiny. Yes, I guess I should be clear. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is any good. I just think that the value proposition that he offers in fantasy football right now is a good one, where he's probably the cheapest week 1 17 game starter in terms of the team plans on having him start 17 games. All right, well, Mike Washington Jr. goes. So this could be devastation. This could be heartbreak right here because it could be Keaton and Mike Washington Jr. go, and then I get nothing at running back here. But if you just go through okay, there you go. Keaton, bang, got it done. If you go through the quarterback list, it's like, all right, so we've got Mendoza. He's not even going to start 17 games, so he'll be starting at the end. Tua probably won't be a 17-game starter. Shedeur will not be a 17-game starter. Cousins will not be a 17-game starter. Penix won't be. Simpson won't be. McCarthy won't be. Watson won't be. Fields won't be. Flacco won't be. Howard won't be. Mariota won't be. Mac Jones won't be. Aaron Rodgers is the only one in this group of guys who is going to start 17 games. He didn't miss any games last year, did he? So how many years in a row has Aaron Rodgers been a starter? Aaron Rodgers played all 17 games last year, 14.9 fantasy points per game. He had a couple top 10 finishes, 21 points here, 7.3 points in week 17 is very funny. Yeah, it's just if I thought they had any better option, I would not be as in on Rodgers, but I don't view Will Howard as a good option. And I'm not certain that there are too many quarterbacks out there remaining who I think are all that scary. Are there any free agent quarterbacks I would see starting over Rodgers? I'm going to guess the answer to that is going to be no. So Russell Wilson is a free agent. Tyrod is a free agent. Cooper Rush. Jimmy Garoppolo, I think, just re-signed with the Rams. Teddy Bridgewater, no. And then it's like QB3 guys like John Wolford, Easton Stick, Brett Rippon, Skylar Thompson, Will Grier, Jeff Driscoll. I don't think any of those guys are starting over him. Yeah, this aligns with kind of what I would believe, which is that if he does start the first one, he is going to play all 17, but him starting the first one is not 100%. That basically aligns with what I believe, Trudon, where I wouldn't say it's the most. Well, no, I would say it's the most likely scenario. Obviously, I wouldn't say it is 100%, but feels possible. Now, Tanner McKee could be one because what there was a report. Didn't the Eagles sign Andy Dalton, right? Which means they are open to trading McKee. I think that is true. Yeah. They traded for Andy Dalton, which definitely means they might be interested in trading Tanner McKee. Tanner McKee could totally get traded to the Steelers, and then I'm smoked, right? Then all these Aaron Rodgers teams. I mean, Ty Simpson, I draft a lot of too. Maybe this is a better team for Ty Simpson. We'll see there. Yeah, tiny chance they take Simpson if they don't actually have a hush-hush agreement with Rodgers. I could see that one being true. Pittsburgh is probably like Rodgers until he retires. Then Jameis could be McKee, could be Ty Simpson, could be. I mean, maybe. So they took Will Howard in round 4 last year. So maybe they take Drew Aller this year and then just try and figure it out. Find a guy there. I mean, if you don't have a quarterback, you definitely should take a developmental quarterback in basically every single draft. I think we're going to do a soccer stream on Thursday, Chris. That is the plan. That's my guess. Got to figure it out with a potential guess for the program, though. Yes, Denzel Boston does have some right wing slappery energy. I'm not a Denzel Boston guy. I mean, he's fine. I took Stowers on the last one. Let's do. Oh, I mean, we got to take TeSlaa here. Speaking of right wing slappy, definitely got to take a little bit of Mr. TeSlaa right now on our Detroit stack. Pretty beautiful. McCarthy has always loved his developmental quarterbacks. Yes, he has. There you go, TeSlaa. So we are just all in on the Detroit onslaught. I guess this is the fading Jameson Williams team, which, you know, makes some sense to have. Not that Jameson Williams has not been a paragon of reliability in his short NFL career. What do I want to do here? You know what? Dontavian Wicks. It's always a good team to add in another Dontavian Wicks. When that AJ Brown trade hits, he is going to go up so high. TeSlaa and JMO do seem inversely correlated. They certainly are. Yeah, because there's only so much room on the bone in Detroit. So JMO last year saw how many targets? He saw 102 targets last year. That was with Laporta out and injured. Laporta only played in 9 games, and he saw 49 targets. Meanwhile, Amon-Ra, I mean, I bet he saw 150 probably. 172 for Amon-Ra. And then how many for Gibbs? Gibbs last season had 94 targets. Yeah, so they definitely are inversely correlated. I mean, it's a very good point. So I don't think you'd want to. Well, if you did TeSlaa and JMO together, that would be your Amon-Ra St. Brown misses time with injury, and TeSlaa has a huge breakout, which, you know, it's probably a little bit more possible than the left wing slappies you'd give him credit for, and a little bit more possible than the left wing slappies think, and less possible than the right wing. I mean, the production, his final year at Arkansas, you guys can see from his prospect page at Flock Fantasy, not very good. 1.45 yards per route run, 20% target share, or 20th or 32nd percentile target share, 5th percentile receptions per game, 15th percentile yards per game. Why on earth would they play Rodgers the second half of the season if they were losing? I mean, why is Aaron Rodgers their quarterback to begin with? Why do they go 9-8 every season? Why is Russell Wilson their quarterback? Why was Justin Fields their quarterback? Why any of these things? I mean, I do not have an answer to why the Steelers do what they do. It's not the way I would make decisions if I was in charge, but it's just the way of the world. The Steelers were put on this earth to go 9-8 and to finish as the 7th seed and lose in the first round in embarrassing fashion in the American Football Conference playoffs. And it's just what they do every single year. Nothing you or I can do about it. Subbing Pacheco for Monty could mean a higher pass rate. Yeah, it could. I mean, I basically think the Pacheco signing is kind of almost incidental to what Detroit is doing. I think they view their offense at this point mostly as very Jahmyr Gibbs centric. I think the reason why they let Monty go is they were like, well, we're just kind of wasting your talents, and we like you as a guy. I do think Ty Simpson starting double-digit games for the Steelers is a more likely run out than he's currently priced for. I don't know if Ty Simpson is the Steeler, though. You know what I'm saying? I think the smoke that I'm buying is we're going to take Terrence Ferguson here. The smoke that I'm buying is that Ty Simpson is a Cardinal. That makes a ton of sense because they actually have nothing in their quarterback room, right? I mean, their quarterback room is Gardner Minshew and Jacoby Brissett, and I mean, I don't think Chris Trevler. I wonder who the third quarter. I think it's Caden Slovis. Yes, Caden Slovis is indeed the third quarterback for the Cardinals. So sub out Caden Slovis for Ty Simpson, and there you go. All right, Brazzle goes. A little bit of Brazzle dazzle there, and you know what? I will take Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson as my quarterback 3 here. Quarterback room of Ty Simpson, Justin Herbert, and Jared Goff. 2 more picks on this team. Bada bing, bada boom. Cardinals are going to move up to 32 with Seattle and get the 5th-year option on Simpson. Yeah, but I mean, haven't we mostly seen the 5th-year option for quarterbacks be sort of overrated at this point? That's kind of the way it's played out. There's a higher chance Garrett Nussmeier sees the field before Simpson. That is not true, but I certainly agree that there's probably a little bit more chance that Garrett Nussmeier, Taylon Green, Drew Aller, that any of those guys get starts. I think all of those guys do probably play a little bit this year. 2026 QB class. Is there anyone I missed? You've got Beck is there. Cade Klubnik. My guy Cole Payton. Do we think Diego Pavia is going to get drafted? It's possible. I'm pretty nuss-pilled, honestly. I think an NFL team is very willing to hand-wave away the past year. But was he even that good the year before? I guess that would be the question I have, is because I remember he was sort of rumored to be the first overall pick, but I also don't remember him being that good in 2024. I mean, 29 touchdowns, 12 picks, 7.7 YPA. Yes, he was okay. I mean, we now know that not a lot of those guys he was throwing to were NFL players. I can see it. I could see Nussmeier being a 3rd-round pick. Yeah, Steelers have the same pick they always do. Ty Simpson, a better prospect than Kenny Pitt. It's true. Wow, my guy Don G is finally reading Infinite Jest. Please let me know. Please update me as you continue reading it. I'll be very curious to see if you enjoyed it as much as I did. Well, yeah, sure. I mean, if Dylan Gabriel can get starts, I think any of those guys could do. Back to the Rams as Stafford's understudy. Well, they tried that with Stetson Bennett. Didn't particularly work. Are they just going to draft whatever Georgia quarterback comes out? Are they also going to draft Gunnar Stockton when it's his time? Possible. Not necessarily the university that I would go to farm out all my quarterbacks. I guess if you had to pick a university, which one would it be? What's quarterback you? Oklahoma University. People are saying it more and more. What do you mean you don't get my love for Infinite Jest? It is the quintessential novel of our age, brother. You are not going to find a better book written since the invention of television, in my opinion. Gunnar Stockton is such a Raider name. I wonder, are the 2 FCS quarterbacks still on the roster for the Raiders? That's a good question. Tommy? Nope, Tommy is not. He's gone. Man, poor guy. And then Cam Miller. Is Cam Miller still on the roster? No, he's not. Neither of them are on the roster. That is a huge bummer. IMG Academy. Ty Simpson is very likely to be hot garbage this year and hot garbage for his career. Yeah. Yeah, you are telling the truth. I wish I could tell you that you are wrong, but you are very much not wrong. I mean, Ty Simpson was not an impressive player to me when I was watching him at the University of Alabama. It's basically a non-impressive player. all due respect, Jason, it's not like Kerouac met Ulysses in really any way, shape, or form. Not a ton of overlap between those two. All right, final running back here. You know what? Let's take DeMercado. Little bit of Spanish for a 19th round pick. Not a pros bro, but I do really like David Foster's writing style so far. It's very if you like it, you'll love it. If you don't like it, you're probably gonna have a hard time. If you don't like the end notes, the end notes are in Infinite Jest are a big hurdle for some people. Man, my wide receivers are pretty good. I can probably take another rookie running back here. My running backs after my big two are JCM. Yeah, we need another running back. Let's do my guy. Adam Randall. All right, this team was Justin Herbert, Saquon Barkley, Travis Etienne Jr., Amon-Ra St. Brown, T. Higgins, Carnell Tate, Sam Laporta, Byshell Tootin, Jared Goff, Oronde Gadsden II, Omar Cooper Jr., Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Travis Hunter, Keaton Mitchell, Isaac TeSlaa, Dontavian Wicks, Terrence Ferguson, Ty Simpson, Amari DeMercado, and Adam Randall. Bada bing, bada boom. We're going to knock out one more draft, and we're going to draft this one out of the 12 hole, and I will be right back. What is a slappy, Davis? We're going to have too many rookies. All our quarterbacks are going to be guys who could be benched at any given moment. All our wide receivers are going to be useless. We're going to have more handcuff running backs than starting running backs. If you look around the draft pod and don't see the slappy, you are the slappy. Stop caring about the projected scores and draft the shiny object. Also, it might just mean nothing. Haven't played that clip in a while. You might be a slappy. See, I don't know if there's a ton of lineage directly from Joyce to Kerouac because Kerouac despised form as the primary driver for a work of art. If anything, Kerouac was kind of a rebuke of the form of Ulysses, where it's highly stylized and the point of the work is the way in which the work is delivered as opposed to the work itself. It is crazy how much fourth round T. Higgins helps the team. It does. It's like there is a nice little it's basically just like the rug that ties the room together, if you will. I mean, that's just kind of a more global sentiment about drafting in general, wherein the more ADP values you get on a team, the better a team is going to be because you're able to get more unique combinations. You're able to get more projected points inside of a team. And it's all about the projected points in terms of feeling good about your team when you leave, right? Because that's the only thing you have to go on. I like JCM right now. It seems like he's pretty likely to dodge Love, and after he does, his price should skyrocket. Yeah, how high up will Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt go if the Commanders do not draft a running back? It's a pretty good question. I wonder if he could go. He could probably go in like the 8th or 9th round. The issue is there's a huge subset of the people who just do not like him. Wow. All right, Jeanty and let's do Jeanty and Love. I don't think I have any combination of Ashton Jeanty and Jeremiah Love on any team thus far. Yeah, Jalen Warren range, Ramondre's spot. I've definitely done a team or two of 4 tight end teams. No doubt about it. Mostly when I've just gotten like sniped on these tight ends. I mean, that's generally the time to do it. Is like if you're ending your draft, you can end with, well, I mean, you could do Chig Okonkwo, Eli Stowers, Terrence Ferguson, Gunnar Helm, and just win the tight end position that way. It's a simple process. Not sure what else there is to explain. Who's the wide receiver 3 on the Bears? I mean, I guess it's Ja'Day Walker right now. Khalif Raymond, maybe. I mean, it depends on who you think is more likely to play. Do you think they are going to play Burden in the slot some? Do you think they'll play Rome in the slots? Because if you think they play Burden combo in the slot and on the outside, then it'll be Ja'Day Walker more. If they play Burden on the outside more, it'll be more Khalif Raymond. I probably wouldn't be drafting him much. And I also don't particularly think the Bears will do a ton of 11 personnel. I bet they do a lot of 12. I don't know, would the Bears even be a great landing spot for a rookie wide receiver? Like their target tree is going to be very condensed. It's going to be Burden, Loveland, and Rome, probably in that order, in my opinion. That would be the way I would think about it. If the Bears, I mean, let's look at the Mike Clay projections. Let's see if we agree with these. I mean, I bet Mike Clay says Luther Burden is the worst pick on the board. Just if I had to guess, it's going to be bad. So Mike Clay has Caleb Williams, or the Bears as a team, for 541 pass attempts. He has Rome for 116 targets, Burden for 111, Loveland for 116, the running backs combining for 76, then Raymond, Walker, and Kmet for about 90 together. Yeah, and I don't buy this. I think that the developmental trend for the Chicago Bears is pretty clearly going in one direction, wherein we see a lot more passing emphasis, and it's not just all trying to protect Caleb. Because let's just be honest about it. A lot of the offense last year was based around protecting Caleb, keeping Caleb from throwing interceptions, keeping Caleb from throwing incompletions. But I do think Ben realized the limitation of running his offense that way when he was in Detroit. And if you realize that limitation, then there's only one way out of that limitation. Speaking of which, I mean, I guess I can't. George Pickens is still on the board at pick 26, or at the 3-4 turn. I mean, this would be okay. Well, there he went. I was gonna say that was about to be generational. All right, let's do Javonte, and then let's do a true zero wide receiver team. How about that? Jeanty, Love, Colston, Loveland, Javonte Williams. You will not catch me being duped in these streets. Walker was getting red zone targets late in the year. Yeah, he scored like one really clutch touchdown, right? Wasn't one of his touchdowns one of the game winners? Caleb is a prettier Bo Nix. Well, that's definitely derogatory from the right point of view. I obviously disagree. I think he's much, much better than that. Why, like, to me, Caleb Williams has the tools to be considered just as good as, like, why can't Caleb Williams be considered as good as or better than Trevor Lawrence? Yeah, it's another year. It's another year having learned Ben's system. It's another year where they have like the same verbiage for the play calls. I mean, I'm not saying this, but people are saying that Caleb Williams already has more playoff wins than Justin Herbert. I would never point that out, but people kind of around are saying that he has more playoff wins than Justin Herbert. Again, like I said, I would never personally say that. That would be more of a, kind of a caveman talking point than something that I would go towards. But, people are kind of mentioning that. Patriots fan weighing in. Can we acknowledge the quarterback 2 is going in round 7 and about to land AJ Brown? Yeah. Yeah, Patriots fan. We probably can acknowledge that. The better Bears play this year isn't the third wide receiver. It's the running backs. Ben Johnson didn't have him check down that much last year. Except Caleb is not a check downer. Caleb's short area accuracy actually is like one of the clear flaws in his game. He was pretty poor in terms of the check down stuff. So if I filter passing depth behind line of scrimmage, and I go for completion percentage. Let me put minimum attempts on here. Completion percentage below the line of scrimmage. Well, actually, instead of below, let me go short. Short area completion percentage. Caleb Williams and Mahomes were actually the 2 worst in the NFL. Caleb Williams was only 2 quarterbacks were worse short area throws in terms of PFF grade, Geno and Jacoby. His adjusted completion percentage was lowest in the NFL, and his time to throw was actually the highest, which means that a lot of those were bailout throws as well. Again, I love Caleb Williams, but you have to acknowledge, the limitations of his game. He's kind of a hair on fire quarterback. He's kind of the final evolution of the quarterback that is all tools, like all flash, all style, as it were. Yes, checking down does not interest Caleb Williams. It's part of what makes him so fun to watch. Yes, I mean, obviously there are a lot of people don't like Caleb Williams. They don't like that he had painted nails. They don't like that he cried hugging his mom. They don't like that his final season at USC was like a total meltdown for everyone involved. And all those people are wrong. See, Dave, I don't think it's funny. I just think this is the way it works when you're talking about football with me. It's funny how wins are a quarterback stat when they are needed in an argument and not a quarterback stat when they're not helpful in the argument. Correct. When quarterback wins are applicable is when I want to make it applicable. When quarterback wins are not applicable is when I don't want them to. I will use quarterback wins to boost up the guys that I want, and I will completely disregard quarterback wins when it is not important and not relevant. Is this the year that Caleb breaks the power? I thought he was going to do it last year. He better throw for 4,000 yards, man. It better happen. Okay. I probably do need to take a wide receiver here. Probably need to take like an adult wide receiver, like someone who is going to, probably not a rookie. Although maybe I steer into the maybe I just take Caleb here. Oh, he already went. Yeah, he already went. So never mind. I can't even. All right, we're going to do Christian Watson. And we're going to do Marvin Harrison Jr. Because when you've started like this, you gotta embrace. I thought this was like, oh, maybe I should take like the more boring, like maybe I should take DK Metcalf or whatever. But no, actually, when you're already this behind at wide receiver, you got to shake the 8 ball up. Yes, if quarterback wins align with my priors, couldn't be a better argument. When quarterback wins don't, like, really whatever I've got to do to discredit Justin Herbert in a given conversation, that is that's what I'm doing. One of these dusty vet wide receivers, Stephon Diggs, Juwan Jennings, or Deebo Samuel, is going to land on the Dolphins and project for a lot of volume. Yeah. Do the Dolphins even want that, though? I wonder if the Dolphins are just straight up not interested in that. I think the Dolphins are fine having they've made their bed. They're lying in it. They're snuggled up, cozy, like the celestial bear. You know, they're going into the season with Jalen Tolbert and Tutu Atwell and Malik Washington and Greg Dulcich. I mean, has there been any news on the Darren Waller front? Google News, Darren Waller. NFL rumors, profootballrumors.com. Tight end Darren Waller unlikely to return to the Dolphins. Wonder if he potentially follows McDaniel. Well, maybe he wouldn't. Maybe he wouldn't follow McDaniel because apparently him and McDaniel didn't end things in the greatest sense. Playing both sides of the quarterback wins argument and admitting it. Well, hey, we are trying to be transparent here. Where do I think Jennings and Njoku end up? I think Njoku ends up with the Baltimore Ravens, and I truly, honestly have no guess where Jennings signs up. I mean, at this stage, I wonder if it just makes sense for him to tuck his tail between his legs and go back to the 49ers, because the 49ers kind of need him at this stage, right? 49ers got nothing at wide receiver. The 49ers wide receivers are Pearsall, rickety old Mike Evans, Christian Kirk, Jordan Watkins, Jacob Cowing, Demarcus Robinson. Maybe they think Christian Kirk and Juwan Jennings are the same. If you're the Miami front office, do you trade Achane or extend him? I would wait to see how Malik Willis plays this year. If Malik Willis is like you're getting surplus value for Malik Willis's contract, I think you extend him. If Malik Willis is a nightmare and no good, then I think you boot him and I think you let him go. Is Njoku not being signed yet some kind of contract timing thing, or do NFL teammates think he's washed? No, honestly, no idea. I think basically right now, free agents are not getting signed because the draft is about to happen and teams are just not focusing on it. They just don't care. Well, they care, but they're like, okay, well, maybe something comes up at the draft and we don't need a wide receiver, or maybe something comes up at the draft and we don't need a tight end. You know, maybe we really want Justin Jolly. Maybe he gets signed a little bit closer to camp. Jennings could be a backup plan for the Eagles. I see that. Wow. My boy has 50% Christian Kirk. Wow. All right. 49ers are definitely drafting a running back because they draft a running back every single year. I don't know. I think they probably draft a wide receiver, but hard to say. I traded Devonta Smith for a 2027 first in the fantasy playoffs. That's probably fine. I mean, it depends on how good your team is going to be in 2027, if that'll end up coming back to bite you in the keister or not. Unclear. I mean, it's basically fair, though. Devonta Smith for a base first is a fine trade. Not a trade you're jumping for joy for. Yeah, the problem with Njoku going to Cincinnati is they do not play any of their tight ends full time. None of their tight ends are full-time players. The question is, can I afford to take a quarterback here? And I think the answer is going to be no. I think I'm going to keep on kicking the can down the road here a little bit. So I'm going to take Godwin and I'm going to take Wandale. So I've got Baker live, I've got Cam Ward live, I've got Jacoby live, and I've got Love live. So I have Jeanty, Jeremiah Love, Watson, Marvin Harrison Jr., Chris Godwin, Colston, Loveland, Javonte Williams, and Wan'Dale Robinson. Could be. This could work. This could work. I don't know if round 3 Mike Washington feels more likely. I tell you who feels like a Shanahan pick to me is Adam Randall. Adam Randall feels very, very Shanahan-y to me, which is not why I draft Adam Randall, but he does feel that way for sure. Can Njoku's knee handle full time? I don't know. I mean, how much did David Njoku play last season, even with Bannon there? feels like even with Bannon involved, Njoku still played quite a decent chunk of the snaps. So last year, 84%, 75, 83, 96. I don't remember. Oh, he must have gotten injured in this game. Came back from injury, 59, 70, 63, 53, 52. So maybe he can't. Maybe his knee is starting to age again, or starting to age severely now. Yeah, kicking the can at quarterback is how you end up with 22% Rodgers and 20% Shough. Wow, I had not even thought about this yet, but just some beautiful stuff from Mr. Mufasa here. Would love Nicholas Singleton in the wide zone runs game for the 49ers. Completely agree, actually. I think that's a hashtag great fit. Wild how much Jordan James started getting drafted off the word of cause because of a Shanahan comment in March. Yeah, I mean, God love the Jordan James people, but I just want to reiterate that the 49ers take a running back every single year. So let's just recap the history. Jordan James, round 5 last year. Isaac Guerendo the year before. Elijah Mitchell is a free agent. Tyrion Davis-Price. Trey Sermon. 2020 they didn't. Oh, 2029. Joe Williams, of course. Kelvin Taylor. Patrick Taylor. Mike Davis. Carlos Hyde. Marcus Lattimore. This is just what they do. Is Mike Evans really that creaky? I mean, he feels pretty creaky, really just because of his age. I mean, let's see here. So age 32 to age 33, 10.6 points per game. You've got Thielen, who improved, Sanders, who stayed about the same, Keenan Allen, who stayed about the same, Santana Moss got worse, Danny Amendola got worse, Julio Jones got a lot worse, Brandon Marshall got worse, Cole Beasley got worse. But, you know, obviously mitigating circumstances in which Mike Evans left one of those games injured. So his fantasy points per game are probably a little bit better than that. If Mike Evans is healthy, he plays 17 games. I mean, Kyle Shanahan is going to get him his numbers. Being an X wide receiver for Kyle Shanahan is the print money button for fantasy points. Got to be more scared of the late round Niners. Yes. Yeah. Round 3. I mean, how many round 3 49ers running backs have we been through the ringer on? Many of them. The quarterbacks are really lasting in this one. Herbert lasted to 101. Dart lasted to 103. So do I want to take, I guess the question is, do I want to take Baker at this pick? I probably do. I probably take Baker with one of these picks. And then I do I take Kyler? Oh, Michael Pittman Jr. I mean, what a gift Michael Pittman Jr. is for a 0 wide receiver team. That is such 11 fantasy points per game. Yes, honestly, I think because the 49ers of recent vintage have not had a true alpha outside wide receiver, people do forget the Julio Jones, Andre Johnson days for Shanahan. Those were some wild times. If Evans is healthy, he's going to go nuts. I agree. Ban 2 quarterback through 8. I don't know, brother. I don't know. Given the way the board falls this year, at least in the pre-draft stuff, I do see why it happens. I'd rather have Evans than Adams. Evans strikes me as one where the clock might chime soon. I actually agree with Michael on this one, where the situation is such that we've got information that the Rams are probably done on Adams. They were interested in AJ Brown. We've heard them rumored to be in on Mekhi Lemon at 13. It's probably not great future for Davante Adams. Who is going to be Denver's tight end? Evan Ingram and Adam Troutman, brother. And they are going to be basically irrelevant for fantasy football. Unless they take Stowers. Man, imagining how frustrating that is going to be for Eli Stowers to be your quarterback. Or sorry, for Eli Stowers to be with Sean Payton. Like every snap he plays, he's going to look great. And then he's going to play about 14 snaps per game. You know what season he will have? Do you guys remember Kobe Fleener? Some of you guys might be too young. But in 2016, Kobe Fleener signed, I think, like a pretty decent sized deal with the New Orleans Saints after he got done with his rookie contract with the Colts. And he was okay on the targets he did get. He had 50 catches for 631 yards and 3 touchdowns, but he just never played. Eli Stowers could be this generation's Kobe Fleener. Yeah, as my boy Solo Minneapolis says, don't grab quarterbacks early, and congrats, Geno Smith is your quarterback too. Not a situation you want to find yourself in, brother. Not the situation in which you want to be living. What if the Eagles trade their first and AJ Brown for Adams in 13? I mean, I think we know that's not happening. Right? Like the reporting has been that the Rams were interested, but are now out of the AJ Brown sweepstakes. And I think everyone is out of the AJ Brown sweepstakes because they just know that he's going to the Patriots. Yeah, Ingram had 76 of the worst targets you're ever going to see. I mean, Evan Ingram, let's see. How many snaps do we think Evan Ingram played last year? I'm surprised he even has a ranking on Flock. Evan Ingram played every game but one, played over half the snaps in a ton of these games, and did nothing. 6.2 fantasy points per game. 76 targets, 50 receptions, 466. I mean, yeah, just the worst stuff, dude. No one wants that. Okay. Well, all right. The quarterback started to go here. If I want to take Cam Ward, do I have to take him here? I guess I probably do. No, maybe I can push it. Maybe I try and push quarterback one more round. Those are dangerous words on DraftKings. Don't believe everything you hear. Also wise words. Stowers won't matter wherever he lands because he can't block. I think you'd be surprised. I think you would be surprised at how much tight ends can be relevant for fantasy football without pass blocking. Okay. Do I want to take Shough? Maybe this is a Shough-a-Rooney team. I mean, it's a huge ADP value. I might just gobble 2 ADP values here. I might just do Gadsden Shough. Yeah, you know what? That is what I'm gonna do. So we are Mayfield, Jeanty, Love, Watson, Marvin Harrison Jr., Chris Godwin, Colston, Loveland, Javonte Williams, Wan'Dale Robinson, Michael Pittman Jr., Oronde, Gadsden, and Tyler Shough. Those were big ADP values. Those are worth chasing. Some are saying Eagles will get Trevion in a first for AJB. That I'm not thinking. Okay. So I want to go to blocking grades for tight end. I'm not going to set a minimum for block snaps, but I want to go to lowest amount of block snaps maybe. Is there any way to do this? Maybe 20% of 525. And then I want to go to, I guess I want to go to run block. All right, just blocking it, or maybe run block, or inline tight end. So here are some guys who played less than. Well, what is the right way to filter this? Offensive or block? Oh, block percentage. How about that? How about block percentage? Okay. So here are some tight ends with very low block percentages. You've got Zach Ertz, 26%. He was almost a full-time player. Trey McBride only blocked 28% of the time. Bowers only blocked 29% of the time. Kelsey blocked 31%. Oronde Gadsden, 32%. Juwan Johnson, 34%. TJ Hawkinson, 35%. Mark Andrews, 39%. Tyler Warren, 39%. Kyle Pitts, 40%. Obviously, it helps to be able to block. It's going to get you on the field more often. It's going to get you on the field earlier. It's going to get you on the field more consistently. But I would rather have big bags of a tight end who is a very talented pass catcher and has to learn how to block versus or just learn how to adapt to the NFL game without being able to block than take your Max Clars, your Eli Raredens, these guys whose entire prospect profile is built around blocking. What is George Kittle at? George Kittle is at 45%, which is pretty high, but not as, like, for example, George Kittle at 45% block rate is not even inside. Well, here, let me do minimum. We do minimum 20% of 525. So if you sort by block percentage, George Kittle is 59th amongst all tight ends who played at least 133 snaps in block rate. Except Terrence Ferguson, I don't think was irrelevant as a rookie. I think Terrence Ferguson was relevant as a rookie, wasn't he? I mean, maybe I'm tripping. Terrence Ferguson as a rookie. I mean, towards the end, last month of the season, 67%, 78%, 77%, 48%. 3 for 33 and 1, 2 for 54 and 1 at the end. I mean, that's kind of, those are similar snap ratios to what Amon-Ra St. Brown did at the end of his rookie year, for example, when he broke out. Game logs, let's go back to his rookie season. So St. Brown was playing a ton early, but doing nothing. But then at the end here, Terrence Ferguson was not irrelevant. I mean, he played. He scored a touchdown in week 17. I don't think you can say that a guy who scored a touchdown in week 17 was irrelevant. Depends on who you think the third tight end on the Rams is, brother. Third tight end on the Rams is really their second wide receiver. But yes, I mean, the big issue for Ferguson last year was that Higbee and Parkinson, I mean, Parkinson just had a career year. That's the bigger issue, was that Parkinson had a real, was really good. I think you are maybe misinterpreting. I don't think this is real football versus fantasy. I think this is actually a real intersection of real football versus fantasy intersecting, where learning about real football means that multiple Rams tight ends are probably going to contribute for fantasy football. I don't even know if it's going to be touchdown regression for Parkinson and Adams. I just think, my guess, if I had to bet right now, would be, I would bet that Terrence Ferguson leads the Rams tight ends and targets, and that leading the Rams tight ends and targets is good and relevant in fantasy football. That's my bet. See, I don't take any Parkinson because I am, obviously I'm a big right wing slappy or a big left wing slappy, so it's hard for me to do that. Well, Jonathan Brooks went at 140. He would have been a good pick here. I kind of ran out of running backs, which is sort of interesting. Mike Washington. Wow. We're about to do the super slappy turn. So I'm about to take Mike Washington Jr. and Keaton Missile to get back on track. Or do I want to take Cam Ward? Well, Cam Ward is gone. So we're going to do Keaton Missile. Got to 4. And then let's do Brandon Ayuk again. Another Brandon Ayuk team on stream. So we started Jeanty, Love, Javonte, Colston, Loveland, Christian Watson, Marvin Harrison Jr., Chris Godwin, Wan'Dale Robinson, Baker Mayfield, Michael Pittman Jr., Oronde Gadsden, Tyler Shough, Keaton Missile, and Brandon Ayuk. Ferg slot and Parkinson in line. Yeah, I don't know. What to me, the Parkinson thing is tough because he just was a zero for so long. And maybe I'm being biased, but he's been in the NFL since 2020. He maxed out at 56 targets and 400 yards. He just scored 8 touchdowns. It's not like he was a volume hog. He had, I guess his volume trended up at the end. I don't know. I mean, I don't even have him ranked in Dynasty. 8.65 fantasy points per game. Guy's been in the NFL for a long time. 62% of the snaps. I think I'm good. I think I'm good there. I think I'm just gonna keep on keeping on with T Ferg. Keaton Mitchell is Temu Devin Achane, or is Devin Achane Temu Keaton Mitchell? See, I don't even know if he is their best blocker. I feel like, I've got it pulled up right now. So let's look for the Los Angeles Rams. Highest pass blocking grade on the Rams last season, Terrence Ferguson. Highest run blocking grade, Terrence Ferguson. Terrence Ferguson blocked on. Terrence Ferguson had a 47% block rate, Higbee 44%, Colby Parkinson 58%. Ferguson had the highest run blocking grade. He never was asked to pass block. I don't know, man. I don't know. Kind of feels like T Ferg. All the signs are pointing. All the signs are pointing up for my guy T Ferg. That's what they're saying. They're saying it more and more. Higbee also is making like no money. Tight end Spotrac. Let's see. List of tight end contracts. This will be a good bit. Tyler Higbee is making. Where is he? Tyler Higbee is making less money than Foster Moreau, Zach Ertz, Luke Schoonmaker, Ben Sinnott, Jake Tonjes, Noah Fant. Noah Fant for the New Orleans Saints is making more money than Tyler Higbee. Tyler Higbee is making the same thing as Hunter Long. Honestly, I would say someone just asked about my guy Peter asked about Elijah Arroyo. Really interesting because obviously you can make a case that Elijah Arroyo fits the same mold as the Gunnar Helm. He fits the same mold as the Isaiah Likely. He is the same thing as Terrence Ferguson. He is the more athletic, more passing style tight end. The thing that I am concerned about specifically with Arroyo is I see no path to him being second on the team in targets. Like no path. And their wide receiver one is so dominant that if you're third or fourth on the team in targets, there's just not much left on the bone there. All right, let's see if do we think this is actually a truth serum from Jake? You don't have to be out on player B on a team if you're in on player A at the same position. You definitely don't have to be. Yeah, I agree with that. But a lot of the times your opinions are going to be dictated based on how you feel about the target distribution or the positional distribution. Like, it wouldn't make a ton of sense to be in on Keaton Mitchell and Kamani Vidal unless you think that Amarian Hampton absolutely stinks or is going to get injured. But yeah, Jake, that is not a truth serum. That's just an opinion that you would freely and happily give to strangers on the internet. Not a truth serum. So again, Peter might need to revamp the prompts for people so that they understand the truth serum. Go back and watch the OG one. All right, what are we gonna do here? Mendoza and Daniel Jones went, so we're down to the real dregs at quarterback. One more. Oh, Travis Hunter is a freaking smash for this team. I'm just gonna double tap Travis Hunter and Geno Smith if Josh gives it to me. Come on, Josh. You don't want Travis Hunter. You don't want to draft a defensive back here, bro. That doesn't fit your style. You're not into it. Didn't you hear everyone who likes Travis Hunter now is still coping and seething? He's gonna freaking auto draft him. He auto drafted Geno. Okay. All right. Well, I will take Dontavian Wicks and Travis Hunter. 2-4-8-2. Mayfield, Jeanty, Love, Watson, Marvin Harrison Jr., Chris Godwin, Colston, Loveland, Javonte Williams, Wan'Dale Robinson, Michael Pittman Jr., Oronde Gadsden, Tyler Shough, Keaton Missile, Brandon Ayuk, Travis Hunter, and Dontavian Wicks. Truth serum take: if online poker were still freely available, best ball volume would crater. I don't think that's a truth serum. I think that's just a take that you're happy to give. Again, I think it's just a take that you believe. Give me the Travis Hunter take. My Travis Hunter take is that a player who was drafted with the second overall pick in the NFL draft and that the team traded their future first for can't just only play defensive back because the team has a greater need at defensive back than they do at wide receiver. It doesn't make a ton of sense in terms of everyone keeping their jobs, in terms of resource allocation. I wouldn't think that the Jaguars wanted to play out that way. I don't think Travis Hunter wants it to play out that way. So I think he probably will start the season playing much more defensive back than wide receiver. I think if the team starts to struggle on offense, one of the easiest things to do is to play Travis Hunter more. Yeah, I don't know if Jacksonville is stacked on offense. There are real questions about Brian Thomas Jr., real questions about Jacoby Myers' ability to be like a lead wide receiver. I'm not as sold on Parker Washington as lots of people are. Doesn't mean I'm right about Parker Washington. I know some people really, really like Parker Washington. I'm a little bit less overtly enthusiastic about it. It's too hard to come up with football-related truth serums different than real-life hidden thoughts. It's not that hard. Here's a good one. My deepest heart of darkness truth serum is that the best season of Patrick Mahomes, the best seasons are over. He's never going to come back from his knee injury. He's never going to be the same as when he had peak Tyreek Hill. And the rest of Mahomes' career is going to be him fighting against the dying of the light with a diminished version of Andy Reid, with a bunch of misfit characters as his pass catchers. He might only win one more Super Bowl, and we will ultimately remember the final season of Tyreek and Kelsey together when Mahomes won the MVP as the peak of the Chiefs, and everything else as the falling actions of the career. Kind of the same way. I mean, Patriots fans are not going to agree with this because so much of the success came afterward. But obviously the peak of, to me, and of casual fans, was the Gronk Moss year, the record-breaking year for Brady and the Patriots, even though they won more games after that and more Super Bowls after that. But the reason why it's a truth serum is I don't know if it's like that is something that I fear deep down inside, but that could just be, my own neuroticisms and concerns inside my body, inside my brain. Could very much not be real. All right. 4 more picks left in this draft. Oh, do I need Rodgers on this one? Yeah. I might even need 4 quarterbacks on this one. Shough and, man, am I going to take Shedeur Sanders on stream? I don't think I can. I might take 4 quarterbacks on this team. Maybe I take Rodgers and Will Howard on this team. All right, Rodgers and T Ferg. Got to take T Ferg in any draft where we pull up his Flock Fantasy page. Which, by the way, I mean, I guess I should probably be promoting this more, but you guys really should check out some of the cool stuff over at Flock Fantasy. We are about to launch more cool stuff for best ball, but yeah, I would just encourage you guys to sign up over there, especially if you guys are playing seasonal stuff, if you're playing Dynasty, if you're playing any of that redraft stuff, the ability to ask, start set questions, trade questions, all that stuff. And we would love to have you over at flockfantasy.com, code Davis. Yeah, Rodgers pretty much has to throw 4 touchdowns to hit your lineup, or like he would have to get like Rico Dowdle would have to take a screen pass 900 yards, 90 yards on a screen pass to hit your lineup. Like, he's not going to get the 300-yard bonus. He's not going to throw 40 times. He's not, I mean, what do we think? Oh, what do we think the Mike Clay projection is for the Steelers? I haven't even looked yet. I wonder if he has Rodgers in there. He does have Rodgers in there and Mason Rudolph. He has Rodgers for 3,800 yards and 20 touchdowns. That feels about right, honestly, to me. He's got Michael Pittman Jr. as the wide receiver 28, by the way. Kind of interesting. Yeah, he does have him very high. Yeah, that Rodgers Pittman week 17 blow up against the Bengals is gonna hit. Is gonna hit something fierce. That much is true. Since when did the flock crew allow seals? Pretty brand new. Yeah, I looked at it earlier. Clay has Rashee Rice at wide receiver 5. Pretty nice. All right. How are we going to end this draft? What are we going to do? We have a 3-4-8-3. We have Baker Mayfield, Ashton Jeanty, Jeremiah Love, Christian Watson, Marvin Harrison Jr., Chris Godwin, Colston, Loveland, Javonte Williams, Wan'Dale Robinson, Michael Pittman Jr., Oronde Gadsden, Tyler Shough, Keaton Mitchell is our running back 4, Brandon Ayuk, Travis Hunter, Dontavian Wicks. That is like the 3 horsemen of the slappocalypse, Aaron Rodgers and Terrence Ferguson. Probably one more running back and then one more wide receiver. I think you probably need 9 wide receivers on this team. I don't think I need a tight end 4. I took Loveland early enough. I like Terrence Ferguson. I like Oronde Gadsden. I think I'm probably good there, honestly. I don't know. I mean, a tight end 4 obviously can help when you're weak at wide receiver because it can help you win the flex, which is something I think that people do forget a little bit about drafting on DraftKings, is that tight ends are marginally more likely to hit your, well, I don't know. Are they marginally more likely to hit your flex on DraftKings due to their reception bonus, or marginally more likely to hit your flex on Underdog because if you score a touchdown, you get to like 10 points and that's easier to be a flex? Maybe they are marginally more likely to hit your flex on Underdog. I'd like to look into that. I'd like someone to do a study and find out the answer there. Tyler Higbee hit my flex in week 18. All right. Dreaming of Sundays says the answer is Underdog. Okay. Good to know. Yeah. Darnell Washington fits this team. He sure does. Is there a late wide receiver on the Steelers? There isn't really. Oh yeah. We're about to take Burmy Jernard. Shout out Neil Orfield. We're about to take old Burmy here. Burmy Jernard and Probably Claiborne, maybe. Ooh, Najee. Najee is a great fit. Great fit, Davis Maddock here. You mean Burmy Jernard? All right, there's Burmy. There's Najee. All right, you guys tell me, did I land the plane of this heavy running back start? So we started oh, that is way too big. All right, so we started with Ashton Jeanty, Jeremiah Love, Javonte Williams, Colston Loveland, then 4 straight wide receivers, Watson, Marvin Harrison Jr., Chris Godwin Jr., Wandale, Baker Mayfield, Michael Pittman Jr., Oronde Gadsden, Tyler Shough, Keaton Missile, Brandon Ayuk, Travis Hunter, Dontavian Wicks, Aaron Rodgers, Terrence Ferguson, Burmy Jernard, and Najee Harris. I think we did land the plane. I think we did. All right, I'm going to get out of here. We will be back with the Swolecast at 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern. I will see you guys then. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I'll see you back tomorrow.